All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ravella's Gussie here, back with you with another video for you all today. I hope all of you have been blessed and well. I know it's been a while since I've made a video in the past months, but you know, I was kind of feeling it. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make another video because I have a lot on my mind. I have a lot of you know, ideologies I would like to discuss with you all. And yeah, the setting is kind of a little different this time around, especially because it's daytime. You know, it's not nighttime. My lamp isn't on at the moment, so yeah, you know, hopefully these AirPods help with the audio because I know they have a mic attached to each AirPod, so hopefully y'all can hear me more clearly, which is why I'm like whispering a little, but yeah. Because I don't want to be, you know, too disturbing to my family. And real quick, I apologize for the setup. I know it's not exactly ideal. I think the camera is tilted a little, so hopefully that's not the case. But without further ado, let's get into it because I'm sure all of you saw the title of the video. We're going to be talking about the universe as a whole. Sorry, I heard a noise. But I want to discuss specifically the sheer space of the universe. Because you have to wonder, is there really an end to our universe? Like, is there a point where the universe just stops altogether? Because think about it, right? On Earth, we have so many things that come to an end. You know, the ocean at some point comes to an end. Now, the ocean itself is really vast, yes, but the ocean isn't infinite. At some point, the ocean ends, whether it's at the bottom of the sea, like you know, like to the point where it's at the deep sea level, right? Because even then, like at some point, there's gonna be a ground, right? Like it's not like it's ocean and ocean and ocean, you know? Same thing with continents. You know, continents have an ending at some point. Roads have an ending at some point, you know, etc., etc. But when it comes to the universe, that same principle just doesn't sit. Because one of the most intriguing aspects about the universe, and I'm just gonna like go on to say that we don't officially know if, you know, there really is an end to the universe or not, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to say that space is infinite beyond infinite. It's infinity, meaning there's no true end to the universe. That's my belief. But hypothetically, let's just say that the universe at some point comes to a stop, meaning you can't go beyond that endpoint. Like that's it. That's the whole universe altogether. If that's the case, right? If the universe has an ending point where you can't penetrate, like all of this you can't see, that's it. This is it. Then what would be after the end point? Like what would be after that? You know? I mean, it's weird, right? It's like trippy to think about because it's just so hard to comprehend, because it just doesn't make sense for the universe to have an endpoint, because you have to wonder, well, what's beyond that endpoint? I mean, is it truly nothing? It just doesn't make sense. You know, that's why scientists like to believe that space is basically infinity. And I mean, when you think about it too, that makes a lot more sense, because it's like I was saying, if the universe does have an endpoint, then I mean, what's after that endpoint, right? But with space being infinite, it's like, oh, well, okay, you know, the universe never has an ending point. It just goes on and on and on and on, right? I mean, that makes a lot more sense. But when you think about that, that is just so eerie to think about. Because we're talking about this vast, vast, vast universe with essentially no ending, right? You know, we, as an Earth, we're in the Milky Way. And the Milky Way galaxy is already so massive as is. But on top of the Milky Way galaxy, we also just have so many other galaxies on top of that. And then not to mention the fact that the universe is infinite. With that ideology, we're literally a mere speck of the universe. I mean, really, we're irrelevant. We're irrelevant when you think about it. I mean, we're nothing to this universe. You know, that's why people believe in aliens. Now, to the degree, like, you know, the overall concept of aliens, like UFOs and like the humanoid, like with the black eyes, I don't know about that. But, you know, this is gonna sound a little rude, and I apologize, but I never understood why people have this ideology where they're like, oh, we're the only life on Earth. I mean, we're the only life in the universe. Like, come on, really? Like, come on. I mean, because that is not, like, that is not a good observation, okay? Because I will say this, I don't know to what extent, you know, life is like out there. But to have that ideology of we're the only life, that just sounds very, very senile. Because think about it. We're essentially living in this universe with infinite amount of space. Why on earth, pun intended, why on earth would we be the only life in this, like, basically big universe that's endless? Why would we be the only life? I mean, that just makes no sense at all. That makes zero sense. And I never understood why people still think that. I mean, I still respect people's opinions. Like, everyone has a right to have their own beliefs, right? But yeah, I mean, that's not a very keen observation, you know? Yeah. Because, and I'm gonna move on, by the way, but on Earth, we have our own history, we have our own beliefs, we have our own achievements, you know? And here on Earth, we take everything so seriously. So you know, we're on the, like, we look at war seriously, we look at technological advancements seriously, we try to do research and medication and how can we like be better as a society, etc., etc. But in all reality, in a way, this is all just kind of irrelevant, because at the end of the day, this universe just pays no mind to Earth, right? Because why would it? Like, we're a mere speck of the universe, you know? It is really interesting though, because I always do wonder, like, about other life in the universe, but to what extent, right? So is there other life, but maybe it's just animals, like in the sense of, you know, lions and gorillas? Or what if there is life on another planet, but it's in the sense of humans, like us, you know? I mean, that's just so interesting to think about, because when you realize there's another planet with another life, you have to wonder so many things. Like, one, are they the same species as humans? Two, do they have the same ideology as humans? Or at the very least, do they have the same intelligence as we do? Three, what's their history, right? Like what brought them to where they are today, right? Because there's always like memes about this too. It's kind of funny, but then it's not, because it's like on it. Because honestly, I am very, very saddened by our history. And I guess you could look at this from a worldwide perspective, because I feel like from a worldwide perspective, it's kind of bad for everyone. But I am so disgusted and I'm so saddened by our history. I don't think we should forget history. I do think, you know, we should teach our history to, you know, generation after generation, because it's important to know, like, hey, this is our history. We're not proud of it, and, you know, this is how we've become as a society compared to what we used to be. I mean, because honestly, say what you want to say, but at the end of the day, we definitely are a better society today than we were during, like, the slaves, right? Like, during the time when slaves were common and such. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone can agree with that at the very least. So when it comes to our history, you know, I always thought about it, and I'm always like, man, I feel like if aliens like happened to discover our planet, or vice versa, like we discovered their planet, and they were like, oh, well, what's y'all's history? Like what brought y'all to where y'all are today? I would just be like, yeah, you know, not a very pretty history, if I'm gonna be honest with you. And I mean, to be fair, they probably, I mean, who knows what their history could have been like. You know, their history could be just as bad as ours was. And I'm not saying like our history altogether was really bad. I mean, obviously there was good aspects to it, you know, such as technological advancements. But overall, I feel like there's more cons to our history than there is pros. Sorry, it's just doing this videos during the day, it's like, you know, it's a lot harder, obviously, because I don't want to get interrupted, or I don't want to bother anyone. But yeah, I mean, I do wonder, you know, in my lifetime, in your lifetime, are we going to experience that? Like, are we going to experience official confirmation that life is out there, or that they're trying to contact us. There's actually a really, really interesting concept with this whole video. And it's a theory. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the theory is a little like fiction-y. Like, I feel like it's like kind of more like a creepypasta than it is a theory. But it's like really interesting regardless, and I'm gonna share it with you all. So there's this concept called the dark forest theory. And the ideology behind this theory is that out there in the universe, there's a a very, very evil civilization that is really powerful and really intelligent. And their basis is basically, oh, like, we're gonna conquer like anything we can because we can do it, because we're that powerful, we're that evil. You know, we're gonna conquer like any planet we can. We're gonna like, you know, just do horrendous things as much as possible. So, and then this part of the theory is true. So as you all know, NASA multiple times in history, and I believe SpaceX as well, they have tried to contact aliens, right? Like, whether it's codings and like, you know, like, I mean, in signals, I guess, or like notes in rovers, right? Like whatever the case may be, NASA and SpaceX, oh, hold on. Excuse me. NASA and SpaceX have tried to contact aliens. But obviously they were never successful in that concept. But with the dark forest theory, essentially the whole concept is to be quiet. Is to just be quiet, live your life, and stop trying to contact aliens. Because what if it's good to be hidden? What if it's good that Earth is unknown to the universe? Because the minute they find out that we exist, it's over. Now that is really scary to think about. And there was like actually like a really good 2 horror sentence that someone had made on Reddit, I believe. Basically 2 sentence horrors is like this concept where you make up a scary story with just 2 sentences. And I think it went something along like this, like, and I quote, "We sent a message to NASA, or we sent a message to space to contact aliens, and we received something back. The message was, stop sending signals. They'll hear you." And that was it. That was the story. And then obviously that story is like implying that, oh, like, you know, a nice alien civilization like reached back to us, but instead of like it being like some sort of spectacle in history, it was like a warning, like, hey guys, like, shh, like, you don't want them to hear you, like, y'all need to stop, like, y'all need to stop doing this, you know? Um, you know, and it's like I said, like, I feel like, in my opinion, there definitely is, like, some fantasy elements to that theory. Like, I do feel like that theory is more of a, it's like I had stated earlier, it's more like a creepypasta. Like it just sounds like scary, and it sounds like eerie. Like that's the whole point of the theory. You know, so for it to be like a valid theory, I don't really know about that. But I mean, you never know. You never know. Like, I mean, I can't necessarily think of like a real life. Or I guess I could think of a real life scenario actually. It's kind of, I think part of the reason, actually, now that I think about it, the reason why it's called the dark forest theory, I didn't even like, I should have probably explained why it had that name in the first place. Because some of y'all were probably thinking, that's like such a weird name to have about space. Well, the reason why that name is apparent is because the ideology of the theory like pertains to a forest. Because when you're in a forest, forests are very, very noisy, right? I think we all know this. Like, even if you haven't been in a forest, like, you know, whether you play the game, whether you watch the movie, whether you watch the documentary, you always find forests to be very, very noisy, with monkeys chittering, birds chirping, leaves rustling, like a lot of movement. Like, there's basically a lot of noise. But at some points when you're in the forest, all that noise, like, you know, chit chat, 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 it just stops. And as soon as that happens, you have to be very, very vigilant, because whenever that happens, that means a predator is amongst the forest. That's why the animals are being quiet, because they sense the predator, they see the predator, and they don't want to, you know, alert the predator. Like, they don't want to be like, because if they make a noise, obviously the tiger is gonna like go towards them, you know. And you know, people have experienced that before, and it's just so eerie. Like, imagine being in that situation. Imagine being in a really noisy forest just for it to be dead silent out of the blue. Because not only, one, is that creepy that just happened out of nowhere, but two, you're like low-key fearing for your life, because you also know that that's a warning call to be like, whoa, like, you know, there's a really big predator around here that I need to be wary of, you know? So that's why the theory is called dark forest theory, because it's the same ideology where we should be quiet. Because right now, we're unknown, and no one knows about Earth, so it should stay that way. Because if they find out about us, then it's not going to be good from there. It's going to, like, we're going to wish we hadn't tried to contact aliens. But yeah, I know that was like kind of dark, but I mean, that's a really cool theory, if I'm being honest. What else can I discuss about space? I guess another thing I could discuss as well is how many times like Earth has like been so close to just pure destruction. Because there have been too many times to count where asteroids bigger than Earth, or you know, they don't necessarily have to be bigger than Earth, but they can be like pretty big to where it can be impactful. Because remember, asteroids are traveling at a very, very fast speed. So like, take the moon for an example, right? The moon is obviously not bigger than Earth, but hypothetically, if the moon were to hit Earth, it would be pretty impactful. Like, it would be to the point where we couldn't recover from that. You see what I'm saying? So, it doesn't matter, like, the size of the asteroid. You know, at some, like, the asteroid could be just as big as the moon, if not smaller. And that alone can cause, like, massive destruction to our ecosystem and the overall planet. You know, like the aftermath and such. But just imagine an asteroid bigger than Earth merely missing us. Yeah. Yeah, that is scary. Because if that asteroid bigger than Earth were to come towards Earth, that's it. That's like the extinction of everything on Earth. That's the extinction of humans, that's the extinction of animals, that's the extinction of our history. Everything just gone. Damn. No, and the fact that that's happened like so many times, like the fact that asteroids that could literally extinct us have like been so close to Earth so many times is really scary to think about. And yet, you know, yet here we are still standing today. I mean that's like, honestly, that's like pure luck when you think about it, because I feel like now in today's society, we probably do have the technology to save ourselves if that were to happen. But obviously, God forbid, because we're just better off not having to deal with that, you know? And I mean, it's happened before, but like not just with us, but with dinosaurs, because, you know, dinosaurs got a pretty nasty meteor or asteroid that pretty much extinct them. Now, obviously, that's like, well, I'm pretty sure that's like the general belief. Like, I'm pretty sure that's more fact than it is a theory. Because a lot of people, like, or a lot of scientists, like, they like to talk about, oh, well, why did the dinosaurs go extinct? Like, what was one of the reasons why they went extinct? And you know, I feel like one of the bigger reasons was definitely because of the asteroid. Because that asteroid was just so strong and it was so impactful that it nearly killed all of them. And the aftermath was like worse because it just made it impossible to live. So basically, they just died out eventually. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's gonna be it for me for this video. I know that was like kind of an abrupt ending, but I feel like this video was more so just like expressing my thoughts. Like, I wasn't necessarily like going over a script, or I wasn't necessarily like, you know, just wanting it to be professional, I guess. I guess this video was more just like, oh, I'm just gonna express my thoughts and I'm just gonna make a video, you know? But I hope all of y'all been doing good. Please give this video a like and subscribe. God bless and take care. Bye.